Earlier this year, I held a surgery with Hong Kongers living in my constituency alongside Alison Lowe, who is the Deputy Mayor of West Yorkshire, responsible for policing and crime. Now, while I was so pleased to see the room absolutely packed out, standing room only, it was clear from the questions I was being asked that the #1 concern was the immigration white paper and the potential impact on Hong Kongers and their families, people we invited to live here. Now, I do need to make it very clear that we must take extremely strong action on immigration. The British people do demand it, and having functioning borders should be a basic function of the state. Now, the level of immigration to the UK has been too high, both legal and illegal, and the White Paper is a decent package of measures to try and bring the numbers down, which should be welcomed. However, we don't want to unfairly penalise those that we have invited here, or people who make a huge contribution to the UK. When the BNO visa scheme was introduced in 2020 by the previous government, it was in response to the imposition of the national security law on Hong Kongers to help them escape political repression. To change the rules now, when the first BNO visa holders are just months away from qualifying for settled status, would be a devastating blow to the Hong Kong community. It would constitute a broken promise. These people have come to the UK under a set of conditions that we determined and at our request. At the very least, even if we were to change the rules, they should never be applied retroactively. And of course, what would happen if we did change the rules? Well, firstly, extending the indefinite right to remain for BNO visa holders would have very little impact on immigration figures. Government data does show that most BNO visa holders arrived in the first 2 years of the scheme between 21 and 23, and since then the numbers have been falling. Currently, BNOs represent about 1.65% of total visa grants, so changing the rules in this area will do very little to change immigration trends. But more importantly still, the Hong Kong community make an immense contribution to the UK, even though they're often prevented from giving their full talents to society because of the limitations they face without settled status or citizenship. I mean, we take university-age students, for example, that we've heard about today. Without settled status, they won't qualify for home fees, making university unaffordable for most of them. Delaying that for a total of 10 years would have a hugely detrimental impact to those young BNO holders who will go on to contribute to the UK throughout their working lives. But why wouldn't we want to increase that contribution as much as we can? And it's also true that a huge number of Hong Kongers in the UK are working far below their qualification or training level, or potentially are unemployed entirely. There are accountants, journalists, engineers, for example, working in roles that don't necessarily match the skills they have. And we've heard that there are some practical steps that the government could take to alleviate some of these problems, which is in our interest. But extending the ILR route for Hong Kongers back to 10 years, delaying further their access to further education, training, citizenship, government support and integration into UK society will obviously make this problem worse. Despite all the obstacles they face today, they are still making a huge contribution to the UK. Now, I'll draw my remarks to a close now with one eye on the time. I urge the Minister to exempt BNO visa holders from any changes to the ILR route or other qualifications for settled status. This country made a promise to the people of Hong Kong, and we should honour it.